One of the oldest settlements along the southern border of the United States, Yuma has a population of just over 100,000. It's located near the narrow section of the Colorado River, which makes it accessible for migrants crossing the border from Mexico. But the mayor of Yuma says the town doesn't have enough resources.
The day I did declare was the day we did exceed our capacity of the shelter. And the fear is then that you would end up having people roam around the community without resources, without food, without shelter, and not be able to find where they're ultimately trying to go. And then there's all sorts of humanitarian issues associated with that, as well as security issues. And so that's not a good situation for the residents of Yuma, but it's not a good situation for the migrants coming through and their families.
Those who reach U.S. territory are taken to a shelter run by the Salvation Army.
Anytime that you have 300, 400, 500 people coming into a community that doesn't have a place to stay, they have no means of work or transportation or communication, it can disrupt. And so that's the primary reason why we set up the shelter. And in that, to provide a place to sleep for these individuals, some meals while they're waiting in transition to leave.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection has announced that the number of migrants apprehended at the Mexican border so far this year exceeds 414,000, surpassing the total arrivals recorded in 2018. Homeland Security says the U.S. has the capacity to process 150 illegal immigrants a day, but the surge in arrivals has stretched facilities to a breaking point. As a result, thousands of undocumented migrants are being released in border towns and cities with notices to appear in court at a later stage. Yuma is merely a transition point for migrants who move on to host communities in different parts of the United States. In February, President Donald Trump declared a national emergency in an attempt to secure more funding to build a wall along the border with Mexico. But on Tuesday, the House of Representatives asked a judge to issue a preliminary injunction to prevent him from using those funds. Mayor Nicholls is now in talks with state and federal authorities to tap into their resources through an emergency response. He says a border wall alone would not solve the problem.
To have a new type of system that would provide a hard physical barrier really does have an impact, but in and of itself it's insufficient. You still need to have the immigration reform. You still need to have the judges available to process amnesty claims quickly.
Yuma is an agricultural economy which relies heavily on seasonal laborers from Mexico. Around 30,000 documented workers cross the border on a daily basis. But now, the very town that depends on migrant populations is feeling threatened by their numbers. It is Tiyansan, TRT World, Yuma, Arizona.